Okay, welcome everybody to Daily Zoom. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate any and all input about puppy raising from anybody. Really good to be here again. Good morning, Jill. Just if you haven't yet, check in. Please do check in the chat box. Love to hear where you are calling in from, zooming in from, and how you're doing this morning. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being terrific and awesome this morning, and 1 feeling not so great. So please do take a moment. It is a moment actually for you to close your eyes and check in with yourself and see how you're doing, and share with us. And thank you, Pat, for your note. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Okay, so today, I'll say more later, but I've been doing this pretty much every day for the last 2 weeks, and today is our last full week, and then we will move to weekly. So, and that'll be, I'm hoping, a continued awesome way to get your week going, to have connection with this group of people that's been showing up, every day, a range of, 20 to 40 people. And yeah, so Tuesdays, I decided on Tuesdays, 9 a.m. And that'll be hopefully a great way for you to begin your week and also have a touchdown every week. So I will share more about that towards the end. Deb and Pepperell, sunshine brings an 8. Yes, nice to have sun. Okay, I thought I would do something slightly different this morning and start with if I can do it, I think I can, start with sharing my screen with you, and we're going to listen to a song, and it's a song everybody knows, but I watched it this morning and I thought it was really perfect for our topic around worry and what to do instead. So I'm going to play the song, assuming it works, and then we'll go into a meditation from there. So let's see. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh, there we go. Wow. Okay, it might not work, but give me a minute. Zoom had an update. Did you tell me that, Andrew? Oh yeah. Screen share is what I would like to do. And I usually can do that. Nope. Oh yeah, there we go.
Down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Come on, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, let's go down. Don't you want to go down? Come on, mothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sinners, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sinners, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
So I just want to invite you to have a deep breath and gently close your eyes for a moment. And just taking in all all the sensations of listening to that song, the vibration of all the different harmonies, the voices, the smiles on their faces, the passion on their faces, and the words. It's time to go down to the river and pray. I invite you to have a deep breath and see yourself down by the river, perhaps splashing some water on your face. Listening closely with your ears, you can hear the river or the brook and the water flowing in between the rocks and the divots in the soil and the banks. Imagine yourself putting your hands in that icy cold water for a moment. Shifts our attention, things like that, to the present. A splash of cold water. And maybe there's a prayer this morning. And you might see yourself sitting down on the earth, feeling her energy and saying your prayer or blessing. Or you're still crouched over that river with hands, feeling the flow of the water rushing by your fingers. And the prayer comes to you from your belly. Just staying with the image for another few breaths. Notice if the mind wants to distract you. We talked about this yesterday in really good detail, how the mind just wants to take us on a journey elsewhere, anywhere else than the present. Come back to your breath. Come back to the image of the water and your fingers and your hands, feeling the cold rush, or if you're sitting, feeling the soil beneath you. And a nice deep breath in now. Feeling the cool air as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then bring your attention back to where you are now, standing or sitting or lying down. Back to the room you're in, back to the wind outside, the snow, the sunshine, whatever's there. And have a breath and gently open your eyes. Great. Welcome. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being here. Love to hear any comments in the chat about just before I move on to the topic, but curious how that meditation was for you this morning, including the music and any prayers that came while you were listening. Anything you want to put in the chat. For me, the song is so perfect because it speaks to, well, it's an old spiritual song, right? It speaks to what we need to do. And not what we need to do, like we need to like pray and pray and pray, not that, but that we're coming, that we're coming to, and we need to come to a spiritual perspective and view of what's happening right now, of what we're experiencing right now. So I really love that. This is time to listen and tune in, says Beth. Yes, absolutely. Anybody else with any prayer that came to them or a message or anything you want to put in the chat? Felt a feeling of clearing and rest with imagining the hands in the water. Yeah. It may be a plane circling my home, but it sounded like water flowing. Nice. Love that. That's really beautiful, actually. Very relaxing. I could feel and hear the water, especially bubbling over the rocks. Kumbaya, my Lord, came to mind. Love it. Yeah. I think these, I will play it with my daughter later. Nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, there's so many of those things out there right now. And this morning when I said that I was feeling a 2, I was feeling very frustrated. I almost deleted that email that somebody had sent me and I was like, nope. I know music for me is really powerful and harmony is really, really powerful for me. So I saved it and I watched it. Erin says, I love that. Thank you. Great song, great vibration. I was able to drop into a deep meditation easily and went to one of my favorite trails where I've held my feet in cold water for several minutes. Nice. Wim Hof. One of my spirit guides came to me and answered a question I had. Beautiful. I am today able to listen to my inner voice. Nice. Ah, so great. Yeah, so important to continue finding new ways in a way. I had a meeting with my guru in California yesterday. We had a Sangha, our first Sangha gathering on Zoom. And he was saying how at first what he noticed is that everybody was like, okay, I'm home, like, it's different. It's, some people were like, yay, I'm home. I have nothing to do now. And, it's just really great. Or, obviously there was a range. But, some time has passed and he said he was noticing that there's a little restlessness now, like an undercurrent of restlessness a bit. And so I think incorporating new ways to ground and connect and shift our energies is really important and going to continue to be really important. That's the creativity, one of the aspects of creativity that I feel like I keep tapping into and staying creative. So, okay, well, I wanted to talk about worry and what to do instead was the title that I was thinking of. And so I guess I want to start with just having you jot down on paper or on your phone or wherever you are the things you are worried about in this moment. So not the things you've been worrying about, but what comes to, what comes to you in this moment. Maybe it's the same things you've been worrying about. So just take a moment to jot those down. And one of the Zooms we were talking about how it's like we're holding it all, and that's really important. We have to hold everything at the same time, which makes this time really intense. And it's not like we have to, but we are, because it's so, the energy is so dense right now. There's so much going on. And so I feel personally like I'm holding worries. I'm holding spiritual perspective on what's happening here, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I'm holding myself. I'm holding my children, all of our feelings. Like I'm holding everything. It's like this huge pot of soup. And it's harder to compartmentalize in a way because it's so intense. I think, it's like a pressure cooker. Sometimes it can feel that way. So even though I might be feeling really great and like a 9, I know that in the next breath, if I ask myself, what am I worried about? I can say the things I'm worried about. So yeah, so I know I'm talking and you're writing or thinking or jotting things down. Hey, Edie, nice to see you here. And Brent comes every day. And Jill, nice to see you. And David's back. Yay, it's really sweet. So yeah, so who wants to share in the chat or share with the group? Put me in the chat if you would like me to unmute you. And otherwise, type into the chat the things you've been worried about or the things you're worried about today. I'll say for me, my son has had a fever and it was sort of gone 2 days ago, and yesterday it came back. And so very low fever, extremely low, but he's not feeling great. And I am worrying about him. I'm also worrying that my puppy is not going to like ever get trained and that he's developing all these really bad behaviors that are driving me crazy. And I'm worried that I might just pick him up and toss him against the wall. Of course, I would never do that. Those of you that are parents of children or puppies might relate to that experience of wanting to. So anybody want to share? Anybody?
Sure. Oh. This is Pat. I'll share my top concern currently. It's a very happy time. We've got our first grandbaby coming in July. And
Wow.
at this point, we're very worried about Mama's health. And she's been great so far, but it's probably my top of my list.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, that makes sense. Thanks for sharing, Pat. Anybody else? You can type in the chat, or like Pat did, put your hand up in the, click participants and then put your hand up and I will unmute you. Brian.
So my biggest worry is when we're going to be able to go out and not social distance with the friends that are important to me. I'm really missing the people that I feel closest to.
Mm. Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah, I see Linda put she had a drive-by window visit with her mom, who's 97 yesterday, and yeah, I was thinking about that too, like the visual of not seeing my friends. You know, I'm lucky because I see my daughter and I see my son and I see my ex-husband and his wife and their son. It's a little family, but I was thinking yesterday, well, I haven't laid eyes on, you know, that friend in a long time. It's nice to have the video chats. Thanks, Brian. Anybody else want to share? I need to move. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous time to move. You need to move. It sounds like you need to move out of your home, not move your body. Thank you, Annie. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Mitchell. Yeah, Mitchell, I see you.
Yeah, for me, like in this moment, like as you asked the question, the piece of uncertainty that I'm feeling is just a worry because I have a client who's in the midst of buying a big home, and then I would sell their home, and I've been doing some comparative analysis, and it's really hard to do it based on what the market conditions are. So I sent them some stuff, and I've got some radio silence, which is just playing with my head, you know, wondering if they're gonna consider someone else selling their home, which is something I, of course, need to do. And so my big fear is around, you know, just the uncertainty of my business and continuing to get business. And as a 1099 employee, you know, basically I don't really have many ways to turn. I mean, there are some unemployment stuff, but so, you know, it's a fear. It's always been latent with me around money, but it's really occupying space, but I'm trying to really let it go. And yet while listening to my gut and intuition, and their silence right now is not feeling good, but it will all work out.
There's the other part. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just gotta let it go because my feeling is like, even if they're considering, say, someone else looking to sell their home, I can't do anything about it. So I just need to let it go and just, it is what it is. You know, they choose to speak about it and continue dialogue to get where we need to be, they will. But if not, they have no control. So that's the piece I'm letting go, is controlling destiny. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you for naming that. I know there's a lot of people that are concerned about their finances,
Yeah.
concerned about their businesses, you know, like the business itself, and then the financial health and well-being. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Mitchell. Beth says, as I get accustomed to this way of being, I fear that I won't want to return to my old way of being in my job. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people in that camp too. That is an interesting one. I kind of want to bookmark that. But yes, it's like, wait, well, I won't bookmark it. That speaks about the sort of great pause, you know, we're in, which is reevaluating everything, which is part of what we can do instead of worry. I think you're probably not the only one with that thought or fear, Beth. Yeah. Also, if anybody can relate to anything anybody has said, please do put that in the chat. Thank you, Annie, for holding space. Beautiful. Yeah. So we've been talking, you know, we've been going through so many techniques in the last couple of weeks. A lot of them focused on being present and also letting go of emotions that come up and fears that come up and expectations. And I wanted to say, which is the obvious thing, that worry is in the future, right? Like worry is not in the present. Worry is in the future. It's when you say you're worried about something, even the examples that you guys just gave, it's about something in the future that's happening. I just want to let Pat know that came to only me. Pat, your message came just to me privately. That sometimes happens. So I'm just letting you know. If you want to send it to everybody, that'd be awesome. Yeah. So worry is all about the future. You know, my son last night, he was worrying, like intensely. And I said, what are you worried about? I'm worried that I'm going to get more sick. Yes, that is in the future. I'm worried about my business failing. I'm worried about not having enough income and, going downhill. I'm worried about, etc. All about the future. So I wanted to give us, before we go into the spiritual aspects, I wanted to give us a really simple exercise to come back to the present. And thanks, Pat. Yeah. So what I'm going to invite you to do is have a breath and just close your eyes really briefly. And then squeeze your eyes tight, tight, tight. And then have another breath and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Tight, tight, tight. And then open them up and name 5 things you see right in front of you. Let me do it too. And now, how do you feel? If you want to put anything in the chat about what you're noticing. Present, yes. I know, it's a trick question. Yeah. And Course in Miracles talks about being a lover of reality. And Jason feels better, Beth feels energized, Annie feels a tree with red leaves, or sees a tree with red leaves. Curious how you feel, Annie. That exercise took us about, I'd say less than 30 seconds. I think it took us about 15 seconds. And more aware, exactly. It's really, really simple and really powerful. Beautiful image came up, positive thoughts, thankful for all that we have in front of us, sunshine brighter, yes, exactly. So when we're in worry, we're in the future and our minds are taking us on a road trip, like a serious trip. And being a lover of reality, we need to come back to the present moment and what's in the present. And it's a very, very simple, like, again, cognitive behavioral piece, shifting our attention in a big RV. Yeah, that sounds good. A road trip in an RV, yes. Yes to that. So all we need to do, we need to close our eyes because that is like the break between the worry that's in the future and what's right in front of us in the present. So what we do is we just close our eyes and name 5 things we see. I just named 5 things right on my kitchen counter, and I'm back to the present. So I just want to suggest that anytime you're feeling worry and concerned about any of the things you mentioned or thought of, that you do that exercise and that you teach it to people that are in your life that are feeling worried and concerned. I mean, there's a lot of way, people say, come back to the breath, and come back to the breath is obviously really important and very powerful in terms of relaxing the nervous system and bringing us to the present. But there's something about naming the things that are outside of us. It gives our mind something to do. It gives our mind something to focus on, so it's not taking us on that road trip in the RV, crazy road trip in an RV. And it brings the mind to the present moment. And that's exactly what we're looking for when we're in worry and concern. So yeah, let me know if you feel like that exercise will help. I just want to go back to Pat's. I feel blessed to be in the internet age with tools like Skype and Zoom. Yes, I have the letter from my grandmother to her husband's family explaining how he got sick during a wave of the Spanish flu. Oh, interesting. And died within 48 hours. They received the letter over 6 weeks later. Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Interesting times. Yes, bye, Linda. I know she had a work call. Oh. Not right now, but Annie's got a question for Pat about the letter. Okay, so spiritual perspective. I know that many of you listening in are holding a spiritual perspective with me, and I wonder if anybody wants to get that conversation started. How are you holding this? Instead of worrying, it actually really is important for us to, as my teacher says, and as I now say, go up above about 30 feet. And I think in this case, it's like way more than 30 feet, but go up like 1,000 feet and look down at what's happening. And I know that you are here with me because you're inclined to the spiritual, you're on a spiritual path, you're curious about a spiritual path, you're definitely a seeker. And otherwise, I don't think you would be here. I know you wouldn't be here. And so it's really important that you activate that part of us. This is such a moment in history that has just brought everything, that all the weak spots have become shining lights so we can all see them, not locally and globally. Everything that needs to come crumbling down has the potential to come crumbling down. And we have this pause to not only self-evaluate, like Beth brought up, am I doing work that's really fulfilling? Is this really how I want to be spending my time? How do I want to spend every moment of my day now is the question. And, reevaluating where we are in the moment and reevaluating how we're operating on a global level. And that's just like on the earth plane. And then there's like the spiritual level of evolution that Lisa referred to yesterday. And a real deep and serious call to wake up. I have a friend who reads my tarot cards every morning, and then she calls me on Marco Polo. I don't know if you know that app, but it's a little video app, and she reads me the card. And every single day, and I'm talking like every day for a month or more, the cards are all about having courage, waking up, doing it anyway, stepping into my full self, letting go of the fear, being with the fear, and doing it anyway. I mean, there must be 50 different cards, and they're all pointing to the same thing, not 50 cards, because there are many cards in that deck that don't actually, but all of my cards every day point to this invitation. And it's like Lisa said yesterday, living in the uncomfortable. And we're living in the uncomfortable because we're forced to live in the uncomfortable right now, depending on how you perceive it. But the uncomfortable, the discomfort of stepping into our fullest selves now is like imperative. And I want to say really clearly that you're here because that's your invitation also. So if you're starting to think like, oh, I'm listening to Robyn, but that's not me. I'm not. No, I'm good. No, definitely no. You are here only because you're part of the contingency of people that are on the front lines of needing to wake up. We're not on the front lines of caring for, people that are sick right now and doing that level of work. We're on the front lines 1,000 feet up and here on the planet to wake up. So I'm going to pause for a moment. Curious what's resonating, what's not, questions. Amy says, I'm intrigued and excited about all the change that has happened so urgently and quickly that it's a model of what's possible when more people wake up and make the necessary changes for the planet on so many levels. Yes, exactly. Andrew says, I've been walking up and down my stairs again and again and again as my exercise. Yes. As I walk up and down in this one space, there is this opportunity to be subject, to be present. These opportunities to practice being present pop up again and again and again. Walking around the house becomes practice. Yum. Thank you. I love that. That really speaks to the contrast to just the sort of robotic way we move about. We do even the smallest things like move about our house, right? I'll reference my guru again, who's at the ashram in California. Some of you know that I've been connected to that ashram for 3 years or so. And he invites this practice, which I was doing and I had forgotten about. So I'm really glad he mentioned it yesterday. It's really, it's a great practice. So basically, when you wake up, it's kind of funny. You check to see which nostril is more open. So that in itself is a little tricky, right? Because like making the distinction between two sides of our noses, but it's possible. And then whichever side is more open, that's the foot that you put on the ground first when you get out of bed. Yeah, so it's like, oh, my left side's more open. Okay, I step out of bed with my left foot. And it's about getting out of bed on the right side of the bed and going forth with consciousness. So it starts immediately as soon as you wake up. You tune in, you check in, you become conscious and aware, and you step forward into your day with that level of consciousness. So that reminds me, Andrew, what you said reminds me of that. Like just the moving about the house. And thank you for that, actually, because I haven't really been thinking. I've been thinking about going up and down my stairs for exercise, for sure, when it's raining. And I am moving about my house in many different ways because of different routines. That's very obvious to me. But yeah, that adds another piece. Annie says, I talk to neighbors and passersby at a distance. It's very social here. There is a pond out front and people pause to be present. I paused one day to see someone paused with a bike who needs water. So I took her water and we talked. That's nice. Going to bed. Yeah. Oh, going to bed, is there a similar approach? Yeah. Well, not with what I just described, but the going to bed is actually in that tradition that I practice. Going to bed is about doing puja and meditating and going to sleep. So basically, you would do some pranayama, just some deep breathing is fine, some meditation or mantra, and and when I say puja in this regard, just some gratitude to your teachers, to the universe, to your guides, to, you could get more specific than that in your life, but basically you're honoring and thanking for being thankful for the day and then going to sleep. So yes, actually we start the day and finish the day in that way. But the very first thing is to check which side is open and step out of bed. Guess I'm going to bed with you every night. Thank you. I love that. I'll tune into that this evening. I don't recall hearing the nostril breathing technique used that way. Interesting to try. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hadn't heard that at all. It's very unique to my guru. Okay, anybody want to add anything about the spiritual perspective? I know you guys are extremely quiet, a little quieter today than usual. That's fine. But I'm just curious because to me, that's the piece. It's like when worry comes up, it's like, should we be scared? Do we run with scared or do we run with sacred? Those words are so close. So I want to invite the shift from scared to just move those letters around to sacred. And when we do that, we're obviously moving out of fear and we're moving into the sacredness of this moment in time. It's so powerful to be here at this moment in time. This will never be forgotten, right? We remember the Spanish flu. We remember things from a long time ago. And this is one of those things. It's crazy. Literally getting off on the right foot. Yes, says Beverly. Yep. I mean, yes, to what you said, Beverly. I've been working a lot, says Annie. Thank you, Patty. Had to scoot to get to a work meeting. Working out the problems of the work. I have gone back to cutting very primitive stencils. Nice that you're continuing to be creative, Annie. I know your artist self. Yeah. Oh, yes, I hear someone unmuted, so go ahead.
So just one little thing is in the shift of letting things go, magically my client just sent me a text about, chatting this afternoon. So interesting how we just let things go, how it works out. And I got, as we're sitting there, I got a text that we should chat this afternoon. So it's a good thing. It was a very positive, it said some other things, but positive text, and just makes you realize that I got off the RV and stayed right here and look what came. So.
Oh, that's so beautiful. We're all witness to a miracle.
Yeah, really, it was wild.
Thank you, Mitchell. That's awesome. Yeah, that's just such a great example of exactly what needs to happen. Staying present, letting go, bringing in the sacred, connecting to that which is way greater than ourselves, outside of our little micro world, and then being open to the miracles. I mean, I actually, when this first started, was also really worried about my practice. I have an in-person practice for a percentage of the time. And some of the time I've always done virtual things. But as many of you know, I've been leading in-person workshops, and I was all of a sudden in this state of worry. And then I thought, okay, I really have no idea what's going to happen. I can't even make it up. I mean, my mind wanted to make up lots of stories about what was going to happen. But coming back to the present, deepening my spiritual practice, staying in a place of love, being creative, and I mean, it's so crazy. I'm not so crazy, but it's crazy because my mind was thinking one thing, and I have all these new clients. People are reaching out. They want to do certain things. They want to take the time that they have to focus on something. They have time at home with their partner. What better time to work on their relationship? I just feel like one miracle after the next. So, so important to stay open to that and to watch your mind. Watch what your mind just said when I said that. If your mind said anything like, well, that's not for me, that's not going to happen to me, or that's just Robyn, or, anything in that regard, anything that's brings up doubt or even a belief that you're different or separate from me, which is also not true. Just notice that you can come back to the present moment. Look at the 5 things in your surroundings and know that all is well in this moment. Andrew.
Yeah. So what that just brought up for me was, that was really nice, was that this idea of becoming present, perhaps by doing the exercise you mentioned, is a nice kind of way to come back from worry. But it's also in that time of presence that we recognize these things, right? That we're receptive to things like figuring out that, you're doing all these new things and finding out you can get new clients. It's like, so not only does being present allow us to be more relieved in some sense, it also opens us up to all these opportunities that are beginning to arise in this time. So I really like that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Good reminder. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to shift in a minute. I want to talk about a handful of things, and actually we have a surprise happening in a moment. But before I do that, I'd love you to put anything in the chat that you're taking with you, like something tangible that you're going to remember. Maybe it's the practice you're going to use. If so, I suggest you write it down, and I'll send it out. I will send out a reminder for that powerful and simple practice. But just in the chat, anything you're taking with you today that'll be valuable for the rest of your day, the rest of your week, the rest of your life. How to start my day and a tool for being present each day. Yes, the nostril consciousness. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Yes. Which side is more clear? And step forward in a clear way into your day with that first foot on the ground, getting out of bed. Yeah, good. So while you're thinking about that, I wanted to let you know that next Tuesday, what's really nice is we're meeting again in a couple of days. So next Tuesday, I have this beautiful woman. Her name is Sunshine. How could we not want to be around her? Sunshine, that's her real name, Sunshine Beeson. And I sort of met her through her daughter who was living here, but she was living out in Colorado, Sunshine. And she's been teaching Tantra workshops herself and her partner together out in the wilds of Colorado for a long time, 20, 30 years, maybe longer. And I asked her if she would join us on Tuesday, and I'm really excited she said yes. And she wants to talk about the divine masculine and feminine and how that's playing out right now. And yeah, how to tune into those aspects of yourself and how that can support you during these challenging times. So I'm really excited for her, and I hope you will join us Tuesday morning at 9. Let's see. Wake up in liminal space, stay soft, breathe through worries. Yes. Really like the practice of looking and naming 5 things. Yeah, very practical. Yes, thank you. Yeah, and then I have guests lined up through the middle of May already. And that's one of those miracles, because yesterday or the day before I decided, okay, I'm going to continue this because I love it. And I think people are getting a lot out of it. And so let's continue this weekly. And I emailed 5 people, and every person said yes. And are you ready for this? They all chose a different date. No joke. They literally all chose a different date that lined up every week from today, from Tuesday next week, until the middle of May. I can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm moving into 2 other things now. One is I want to share something with you, so I have to go to a different screen just to get it. Oops, hold on. Okay. This is a list of links for you. And all of you are, hey, what happened? Did that come through? Yes. I need to, somebody type something so it moves up on my chat. Oh, I see, hold on, it didn't come through. There we go. Oh, it came through in such a clumped way. Okay, one sec, I'm gonna do that again. All right, so while I'm doing that, I'm really excited because so here's the thing, I've been tuning in the whole time, like what's needed, and not wanting to jump to, oh well, not wanting to jump to put anything out there and make anything happen. You know, I really stay tuned in to the universe, to what's present, and to my guidance, to what the messages are. And I follow my guidance as best as I possibly can every day and every month and every year. And so what I heard last week was to offer something so that a dedicated group of people could stay really connected during this time. And I got that it was a 6-week time period, and that we would have between like 10 and 20 people, and we would just really focus on self-care and self-love and elevating ourselves and staying connected to the evolution of what's happening, and with that creating a life and a daily life and a life, larger perspective life that you really want. Like that's the grander invitation here. And so I would like to do that with a group of 10 to 20 people. And so if you can sort of see the link there, let me see if I can capture it again. The link works. Okay, thank you, Erin. Good. Okay, I don't mean to put it in so many times, but I had a couple of links I was going to share. So that's the one that describes what we're going to do. We're going to start next week. And there's a lot of details, or the details of that program, that 6-week program, are in that link. So I suggest you can either click on it now or just copy and paste that, what I just put there, starting with how to use this time wisely, and save that for later. Yeah, copy and paste. Yep. And the link is now live actually in that next piece. So with that, I would like to give away one of those spots. There's a range of payment options so that you can tune into what's best for you, and what, you know, some people have their jobs and they're getting paid as they always were, and other people aren't. So there's a range, and I'm flexible on payment plans and all of that because, you know, I want it to work for people. And I really, really want us to be able to do this in a very dedicated, focused way. It's really, really potent when we do it that way. So for those of you interested, please sign up because the space is limited. And if you have questions, just feel free to reach out. You can email me, text me, and we can hop on the phone and I can answer your questions. In the meantime, I'd like to give one space away, one of the spots away. And Andrew is maybe going to be able to do this for us in a really fun way. are you able to share your screen? I'm going to unmute you, Andrew.
Mute me.
Are you
So
able to share your screen?
yeah, I think we're going to be able to. So let me try this, see if it works, see if it comes up. Can people see
Yay,
that?
it did.
Yay! All right.
All right, get it spinning.
Okay, and this has people who've left as well, right? So
Yes.
yep. So so get ready to. Okay, are you ready? I'll click.
Yes.
There it goes.
It's so cool. I love it. It's so fun.
Pick me, pick me.
Looks like it's
Looks
Mitchell.
like it's Mitchell. Awesome. Woo. Like it has it was almost Linda, but then it went to Mitchell. I like that. Did you see the confetti?
Yeah, I saw the confetti.
All right. Mitchell is, well, you can, that's awesome.
Okay, so let's see. Stop share. Back to you.
Thanks.
Sure.
So Mitchell Rosenwald, you're in.
Thank you. It's interesting how the universe has ears.
Yeah. Oh my God, you had 2 miracles today. That's so awesome. Oh my gosh. Congratulations. I was going to say you can, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Just welcome. I'm going to say welcome.
Thank you. And I just believe is what it really comes down to.
No kidding. Wow, you really manifested today. That was very powerful. Thank you for showing us that, like live and in action.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. So I'll send you more information. In the meantime, like I said, limited to 20. I'm going to run it with 10, so somewhere between 10 and 20, hopefully 20. The more the merrier. And again, feel free to email me, text me, ask me any questions. I don't know. I'm just going to put my phone number in here. Feel free to text. And we can set up a time. So thank you for that, Andrew. That was awesome. Also, so I was going to put, did you guys already get the link? Let me just do this really quickly before we go. So the ongoing daily intimacy link, you have to sign up again. Zoom hasn't quite figured that out yet, but it's good. Gives us, there we go. That's the link. It might get live, but if not, copy and paste. And then on Mondays, we're still doing fireside chats. So Mondays at 11 a.m., we do fireside chat. And that's really nice. It's been like between 6 and 10 people. And it's more like a support group where each person really shares where they're at. And we just open up the conversation to whatever's live in that moment and spend that hour together. It's been really, really great. So very sweet enough to continue ongoing. So Mondays at 11, fireside chat. Tuesdays, 9 a.m. I will see you back here for some sunshine. And can we get fireside link again? Oh yeah, let me just post it right here for you, sure, because I did have that ready. And I think this is this is just for Mondays, and then there's going to be another ongoing fireside chat link. But now I've got them set up for like the rest of the year. Not that we'll be in quarantine till December 31st, but that way the links are good for the whole year. So that's awesome. Thank you, Erin, for reposting. So thank you, everybody. What a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for your conversation. Thank you for your presence and your love. Thank you for your commitment to yourselves and for coming back to love again and again and again and again and again and again. And I love you all. I'm off to my exercise class this morning. That's what happens on Friday at 10 a.m. So I will see you all soon. I'll see you next Tuesday, if not sooner. And please do be in touch. I'm around all weekend. Obviously, can chat, talk, email, text about the 6 week coaching group. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you, Robyn.
You're welcome. Thanks, Erin. Bye, Brent. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here. Off to exercise. Bye, Beth. Bye, Edie. Holly, David. Yeah, have a great weekend. Love you guys.